Hi, everybody. Welcome to another session of Canvas Live. Canvas Live sessions are presented by the Canvas community members or instructor employees to help Canvas users like you improve and enhance their teaching and learning with Canvas. With us today, we have Scott Finkeldye from Kansas State, and he's going to talk to us about LTI application he's created at a school regarding the attendance in Canvas. So without further ado, I'm going to transition it over to Scott. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I am Scott Finkeldye, and I am with Kansas State University, and we have been using Canvas since our pilot in 2014, and then we had a pretty rapid adoption process, and by fall of 2015 we had our full transition complete. We have about 1,500 teaching faculty, including grad students, and we have about 30,000 students active at any given moment. We have about 6,500 classes in our current this fall semester, and it's finals week starting today. So we're have been happy with Canvas. We had a homegrown system previously, and that was something where we had a fairly robust attendance tool that we had customized to meet the needs of several of our departments or colleges. And particularly for K-State, we have an aviation college, and we work closely with the FAA on aviation maintenance training, and we also have several other programs in our aviation college that are have mandated requirements from the Department of Homeland Security related to post 9/11 rules. So one of the things that they have to do for aviation maintenance is track the seat time attendance of aviation maintenance students down to the minute. And if they miss, for example, 10 minutes of class, then they must make up that specific amount of time. They must have a documented remediation plan for what they missed and what they're making up. And they, in certain cases, have to have additional seat time beyond the time they missed if there was a problem. And I'm using seat time very generally here to mean time on the benches in the classroom working with the stuff. So we had been using, a few people have been using the roll call attendance tool as presented from Canvas, and we've had some success with it in a few areas, but for a lot of people it wasn't quite meeting their needs. And again, for aviation maintenance program, they had a very specific need. So I'm going to go ahead and show you these things now, and we'll talk through it a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about what we did and why we did it the way we did it, and I will be happy to take questions in real time, so feel free to ask questions either via text or via your microphone, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, well, jumping, I'm going to share my screen again with something else. One moment, sorry. Okay, so this is our attendance tool. I'm showing you right now this in our test instance. We have a plan. We're going live with this in January after the break, and so it'll be available to everyone in the spring 2017 semester. We ran a small pilot group here in the fall of this semester to tidy up a few things. Again, this is a very simplistic attendance tool because we deliberately wanted to try to keep it simple. So I'll overview it here, and then we'll talk about some details. So first of all, you enable it like you would any other LTI tool. It says test here because this is our test version of it, but it won't say that otherwise. We turn this on as an LTI that is disabled by default. Instructors can go to the navigation tab in their course settings and enable that, or drag it up and turn that on. This link, K-State attendance, and the course navigation then becomes available to both the instructor and the TA role, as well as the student role. When the students view it, they're able to see their attendance specifically, of course, and not the full set of attendance. And I'll show you what an attendance summary for one student looks like here in a moment. So generally, we have a roster of the students appears, and I'm going to scroll a bit here so you can see that. The roster of the students appear, and we've got a setup where you can make a couple of simple choices. So first of all, let me highlight this detail. We made a very specific choice to not synchronize this in real time. That's kind of a big deal, as you might imagine. If the attendance roster isn't up to date, that kind of matters. But while we're still working through marshaling our data in a meaningful way, we found that at the right times, especially, it could really bog down our system here, our LTI tools, when a lot of synchronization was happening for the attendance tool. So we synchronize it up front when the courses are built, and then we give the instructors a button here to synchronize it. And soon we'll take this away and have that synchronization be automatic. But again, we want to do a little data management and marshal that a little bit better before we just sort of blast it all each time and try to update everything. We need to understand where the changes are instead of just trying to check and update every roster every time. So there's a synchronize with Canvas button. You click that and it goes off and it confirms that we have successful synchronization of all of the records. Then there's one other choice related to how you would interact with the attendance with your students, and that is show notes entered on the roster to the students. So you may have noticed that there is a notes field that is designed to be generally internal to me, the instructor, and the other teachers of the course. But if we decide to make these notes something we want our students to see, then we can check this box, and when the students view their summary, they'll also be able to see the notes. This use simple attendance is the default choice. It's the non-minute based. As I mentioned, we originally designed this to meet the specific needs of our aviation maintenance program. And again, they have to basically account for their class minutes and their class length. And then when you've entered those details, the attendance tool will create an attendance sheet that is based on time, and those minutes can be entered in, and it will do the math to show you how many minutes a student missed if they were not there for the full 45 minutes, and then that would generate in the report that the students see. Let me go ahead and show you that. Here's some attendance that I took, and if I look at one of these students, we can see that I've got attendance records for them, and those attendance records are showing us whether they were present, tardy, or absent, and any notes. So we have that for any one student, and that's what the individual students see when they view their attendance report. So last detail here is going back to the setup. If I show those notes and save that, then that attendance summary will actually show these notes to the students, and they'll be able to read those notes and presumably ask any questions they have. Two of the things that we're going to do differently, we're going to update this, is we're going to make the student's name a link to this attendance summary instead of these numbers, so that they don't have to click on a small number to see that report. And then we're going to also include on the summary page a way to generate an inbox communication conversation with the student from within that summary report, so that you would be able to kick off a conversation in the inbox with them from here. The last detail is for the instructors, and there is the ability to print this report. And when you go to print it, it does a little, style formatting to make sure that that prints pretty smoothly. And that allows our instructors, some of our instructors want to print that out and take notes on paper or add additional details as they walk around the lab classroom, say for it's removed right now because we had a bug in it, so I asked them to remove it. But there should also be an export to CSV button here, and that will allow instructors to export a CSV of the attendance data. Then they can use that to create a column of scores potentially for the gradebook and import that into the gradebook. So it's pretty simple. The minutes-based aspect adds a little bit of a complication to it, but that's very specific to one group. We left that in there as a choice in case someone else decided they might find the need for that, but we have not had that feedback from anyone. So far, instructors in the pilot have told us that the students are very happy with being able to see a simple report of what attendance was recorded for them and have the ability to challenge that if there's a question. And our instructors have told us that for them, they really like the notes taking ability and the simple summary that allows them to kind of glance through. It is section aware. I didn't, I guess, pick a course with more than one section, but it is a section aware tool. So if there were individual sections, I could select at the section level and manage or view my attendance at a section level. I haven't shown how it works if you want to view past or present data. So if I were to go to a date in the past, actually, I guess I'm going to go back one more month. I think I started taking some attendance here. Yeah, here's someone who was absent on this date. So I can take attendance back in time if I want to, or I can take attendance, forward in time. If I go forward, it warns me that I've selected a date in the future, so I don't mistakenly take that attendance in the future without having actual attendance data. And the same is true in the summary. Again, these are reports. The summary report shows the totals for any one person, and when you click in, you'll have the specific dates to see, of course, if when and where they were present or not present. The CSV version that's missing right now also, of course, gives you the ability to sort and to run to build graphs and other things on this, which is something that some of our instructors wanted to do, but we voted for the not build that in to let them do that. So I'm looking over at the questions now and going to try to answer some of these questions. So the first question is, are the reports only course level, or can you report at the sub-account level? You currently cannot report at the sub-account level. This is only at the only reports at the course level, but we, because obviously all the data is being stored by us, we have plans to build a sub-account reporting. And that will be something that we develop here in 2017. The next question is related to, can you roll up, is the same kind of question, can you roll up multiple courses into a report? Not currently, but again, that's on our roadmap. These minor tweaks to the interface are the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to build a account level reporting tool that account managers and administrators can run. What is the advantage versus roll call? For us, the advantage versus roll call are two things. The very specific minute reporting aspect notwithstanding, that was a highly specialized feature. For us, the advantage of this is the simplicity of use. Jump in, start recording attendance, and then get a report out easily and quickly. The reporting out was one of the things that our instructors at K-State here had the most trouble with. And so we wanted to make sure the reporting was something that was sort of drop dead simple. What are the status options available? I should have shown that, spent a little more time on that. I apologize. Let me, get to the screen share here and show that. Right now, we've built in present, tardy, and absent, but our tool, we have the ability to just drop in new options here. It is not configurable by the end user currently. That's something that we have discussed, is that we might want to add a setup preference that will allow instructors to say, for example, that they would like tardy to show or tardy not to show, or they'd like it to default to absent instead of present as the default state. But we backed away from those options in the development in order to get it out here on time. Looking through the questions a bit more, does it work in mobile? Yes, it does work in mobile. We spent a little time, not a lot of time, to ensure that it shows up and works well. So it's not, I would not call it perfect per se, but it does generally work. Next question is, does this tool create an assignment or otherwise integrate with the gradebook? It does not currently. Again, we discussed developing that feature. We have a couple other LTIs that create assignments. So we already have sort of the right pieces in place to do this, but we held that off. This is sort of, we use agile development here, and so we went for a minimally viable version of this to get out to the faculty to meet their needs. They wanted to be able to record present, absence, and tardy. They wanted to use the notes to deal with excused currently, and they wanted to be able to quickly get a report that they could use in other places, which is why the export button is coming back. It's very important. Another question is, would it be possible to add options such as excused? Yes, we do have this design such that we can pretty easily add additional options. And to follow up here, someone asked again that they missed the first few minutes. It does not, Tracy, connect to the gradebook currently. That's something on our future development list to generate an assignment at the instructor's request with a button in the setup that would create an attendance assignment. And then they would provide a rule set that would match, sort of distill down the attendance marks into a grade based on the rule set that they put in there. That's why we did not have this available in the first pass. We wanted to get more feedback on how the rule set to manage turning it into a grade would work. Alex asks if this code is in GitHub. It is in GitHub. We have, I believe, not made this one public yet, although we have made several of our other tools public, and we will make this one public. I'm sorry that I don't actually know a definitive answer to that. I'm writing that down here, and we'll bring that information back out. I believe this one is not currently public in GitHub. Let me pause a moment and spend a minute on that real quick. We have several things that we have built. We have a grade thing that pulls grades and passes them off to our PeopleSoft SIS system. We have this attendance tool, and we also have a Scantron tool that we built that processes Scantron files and generates those into assignments and grades for our faculty. And we've done all this in Java. So we also have a Java LTI library that we've built that allows us to reuse widgets a little bit easier, and we've open sourced that as well and have placed that on GitHub. So one of the things that if anyone wants to follow up with me, I will add my email address here into chat. If anyone wants to follow up with me, these are Java tools. They currently require our Java LTI library as well to run, but those are things that we can and will be happy to make available to other folks if they're interested. And the last question I've got in the chat, or last comment I've got in the chat here at the moment is the 100-point roll call default is problematic for us. Yeah, that was problematic for us too. Once we explain it to people and they know they can delete it, it wasn't the end of the world or anything, but it sure threw a number of people into panic, and a fair number of people didn't realize it had happened until several weeks or months into the semester. They clicked on attendance, they thought they'd poke around a little bit maybe and check it out, and they didn't realize what it had created. So that generally was a problem for us too. One of the reasons why we wanted the export to start with that would allow people to get that data out and then import it back in on their own accord if they wanted to. But we also know that we need to build a tool that allows people to generate a Canvas assignment from within the attendance tool. And like I mentioned earlier, for us, we want to work a little harder on the rule set that we want instructors to be able to build to manage that. So yeah, let me. The next question is, what does the export or the attendance printout look like? Let me head over to that, and I will show you that real quick. Making sure, I guess I'm double checking that I'm sharing the right screen. Yes, I am still sharing the right screen, sorry. Okay, so the summary on screen is pretty simple. It shows absence and tardies in a chart form. It's a roll-up report. You can click on the absent total, soon to be the user's name instead. And when you click on that, you're able to see a summary total at the top and then individual dates that you've taken attendance on. So this log only shows the dates that I've taken attendance on. In this case, I've been taking attendance since October, and so it's a pretty short list. And the notes would be available here as well. I've got someone with notes just so you can see that. And then finally, what should be here is an export button. We have the export button here. It exports a CSV file that has 6 columns, sorry, name, the internal ID number, our Kansas State ID number for the student, their total class is absent, their total class is tardy, and the notes field. All of those are in the export, and that allows the instructors to do basically whatever they want with it. What we intend to do for the automatic assignment creation is if you were to declare in the setup that you'd like an assignment to be generated, it'll be a button, we think, in the setup. You'll be able to say, click a button and say, create the assignment worth this many points, and that will go in there as an assignment. It will go in unpublished, and then the attendance will keep up to date the number of absences. And again, as I've mentioned several times, what we don't have settled on is what kind of a rule set will let people manage, similar to the way roll call does, that lets you either make tardies a percentage of a missed event, or somehow map that to a missed event. Our instructors, as a general statement, our pilot and feedback group, were not crazy about just having the ability to set a percentage for the way to manage that. So we're still in talks the best way to handle that aspect of it. Jumping back over to Google to check on the messages. Can you show what it would look like? Oh, might have missed it. Does your tool deal with cross-listed sections? Yes, it does. It brings in all of the sections that are in the course that the tool is enabled in, and it lets you filter between the sections and look at individual ones and sort them in the report. Can you show what it would look like if hours missed setup was enabled? Absolutely. One moment, let me pop over there again real quick. Turning off the minutes-based, saving that setup. Let's take a look at the attendance summary again. Now you see that the summary represents the total minutes missed and the total minutes made up or to be made up. And that is, again, sort of generated from this idea of the class length and the total amount of minutes, so it can summarize the amount of minutes to be made up. When I go to the attendance, and you'll see here that we've already got the work done where the name is clickable in this view because of the more complex need. Then we're able to add a makeup event. So this student came in, let's say, today on December 12th. Or I'm sorry, the class was the class from December 1st. They came in on December 12th. They made up 15 minutes, and the thing that they were working on was the, I'm going to type in something here, I can save that makeup. Now when we look at the attendance summary again, you can see that there is 15 minutes to be made up. And now I guess I over-entered that, so it is overburdened there. But that's generally how that works. And again, it's based on the total class minutes and the length of class time that you enter into that. Checking the questions again. The logs, the question from Ira is, where do the logs live? Currently, we have these going into our enterprise Oracle database, but we also, in our test instance, have it going into a MySQL database. And in our plans for the future, we need to continue to work to, we have some Oracle-specific code in some of our LTIs. This one is the first one that we built without Oracle database-specific code. It will work with any database, and we, again, have it flowing into a MySQL database as a proof of concept on our test side for that. Is there a way to add information about a makeup session? As you just saw, I believe there is a way to add makeup information for the minutes-based attendance. There is not currently a similar mechanism for the general attendance, although again, we expect that either the note-taking field or the ability that we're planning to add to reach out to the student via an inbox communication will allow people to make plans for a makeup session. And several of our pilot instructors indicated that's what they thought the notes field would be best used internally for, was to record the what process they were using to deal with the absences or the tardies. Do students see that sidebar option? I guess I am not 100% sure on what we mean by sidebar option. When they go to, when they see their summary, excuse me, like, let me turn off the minutes-based one, I think will be what the question might have come from. Do they see the sidebar summary? Yes, I'm not 100% sure what that question is addressing. Rob, the K-State attendance, yes. Sorry, yeah, if people came in late, one of the first things I mentioned was the K-State attendance navigation link. Course navigation is available to both students and instructors. When the students click on it, they see an attendance summary, not unlike what you are seeing now. They see their totals and their dates and the status of the attendance. And then if notes are enabled, again, looking at the option for this in the setup, show notes entered on class roster page to students. If that's checked, and it is not checked by default, by the way, I checked it for this demo, then the notes also show up in the attendance summary just in the same way they show up here. Heading back over to the questions. Okay, that seems to wrap up the questions at the moment. What date does this go live at K-State? This is going to go live in January over our holiday break. We've got a series of communications that will go out to our faculty via our standard communication channels. We've got we have a knowledge base that our help desk uses and our end users can browse to find information. We've got knowledge base articles ready, and we also have something that I didn't show you. Let me pop in and show you one more thing, and I'd be obviously willing to share this with others if you would like. I'm going to share here's our simple instructor tool for this. We are, sorry, not tool, help for this. This is a PDF that will be available to our instructors starting January, and it simply shows, we show them how to enable it in the course settings navigation to drag it up and down, or enable it in the navigation and save that. But this is how to actually use the tool. So we tried to, again, keep it really simple. It just has 3 pages where we actually use the Microsoft style of documentation. So we highlight individual screen portions and associate text with those. I'd be happy to share that with anyone as well, if you're interested in seeing a piece of that. So I am looking at the YouTube channel to make sure I'm catching all the questions. Oh yeah, and thank you, Mark Fabian. I remember that on Sunday I got clever and I uploaded that PDF to the live event page already so that anyone could grab it. Thank you for reminding me, Mark. I was a late Sunday evening move. So I didn't even remember that I did it. I put my email address in the chat. I'm going to add it again just so people don't have to scroll around too much. I'd be happy to take questions after the fact about this, about our Java LTI development. If anyone's interested in starting to talk about getting a piece of this attendance tool and using it at your institution, we'd be interested in starting those discussions. I mentioned earlier, and I'll summarize again here, that we have made several of our things available publicly. We are very interested in sharing them with others. We have some of our code has some internal dependencies for us that we think would not work with other people. So we'd need to, these are not shrink wrap shelfware immediately available. We'd want to work a little bit with people to make sure that they were successful. But we also have tasks in our queue to clean those things up so that they will be shrink wrap available to people in the future. We hope to have that work done by the end of 2018 at the worst. But again, we're very interested in helping and sharing with people what we have now. If there are other questions, I'm watching the YouTube channel. If anyone wants to follow up with me via email, please do. And I will be happy to share, like I said, any of the other tools we've built. The other one that I think is the copy grades to our SIS system, I don't think is anything but specific to our needs overall. But the other thing that I have that I think is pretty exciting is our Scantron Tools. So if anyone wants to follow up with me about that, I will be happy to. And yeah, this unfortunately isn't something that would be available in the free for teachers at this point. Yes, question just came in. Can we modify the colors through CSS? Yes, this is designed that way. The presentation is separate from the business logic, so yes, it can be changed. Presentation level can be changed. Thank you all for your time, I think. Not seeing any other questions, but I will hang on the line and be ready and available for anyone that wants to chat some more.
Thank you so much, Scott. We appreciate you posting your email as well. And everyone can also contact Scott through the event page that we've listed and linked to as well.
Yep, I get on the community pretty regularly, so I'll catch you if you ask something on the community. I'm usually there within 24 hours at any given moment, so I'm happy to chat with anybody out there. I'm a talkative guy.
Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you hopefully soon in another Canvas Live session. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry.